Hello and welcome. So today I wanted to do a flip through of one of my altered book journals that I have been working on. And if you're new to my channel, thanks for joining me. I actually looked at my channel this morning and I was shocked to see I have 81 subscribers. When I started this channel, it was to just, I had just started working on mixed media and doing altered books and journals and that kind of thing. And they were easier to show to my Facebook page in video format. So I started this channel so that I could share them to my Facebook page. And I didn't know if anybody would even watch these, but I appreciate everybody who does. And I had today, like, I think 1,344 views, which I'm shocked because I just didn't know if anybody would find it or watch or subscribe or whatever. Anyway, so thank you for everybody that has. If you're just joining me for the first time, I'm new to all this kind of thing. I've been making jewelry for many years and doing all kinds of crafting things, sewing, knitting, all kinds of stuff. And this spring, summer, I decided I wanted to learn how to do more mixed media type things for some of my jewelry displays. And that's kind of what got me started. And I like to collect old books and to use for my displays and that kind of thing. So I decided that I wanted to, instead of just having them be old books, start doing mixed media on the covers. And that's kind of how this started. If you do follow my Facebook page, you know that whenever I work on something like this, I share it in progress so that if anybody wants to purchase it at any point, like if they wanted to finish the inside and just wanted to buy it for the altered cover, then they could do that. So this is one that I had done the outside and had listed on my Facebook page, and I sold 4 or 5, I guess. But this one hadn't. I may not have listed it, I'm not sure. But anyway, I still had this one sitting around, and so I decided I would finish the insides. And I wanted to go ahead and show it to you as a flip through before doing any kind of tutorial, because I want to point out, I'm just learning. So I wanted to point out all my mistakes. And I know that sounds weird, but to me, that's the best way to learn how to do things. And I may go ahead later and break this down into parts and do different tutorial videos. So if there's something specific that you want to know how I did, please put that in the comments, and then I'll know what you're interested in or not. But I'm gonna probably take my time and kind of go through each thing in this one. And so it may be enough, to get you started on your own. But I may do one with a different theme where I take this book, because I do like how I ended up doing this one's more of a keepsake book than a journaling type book. I found that in doing this, I love making the books, but I'm not really someone that journals every day. So I'm more of a collect things and keep things. So I decided to do a kind of a keepsake one. So anyway, I'll go through everything with you, and then any links regarding references that I make, I'll put links down in the description. So I've had people ask me that before and then they can't find it. But if you look below the video, before all the comments and things, you'll see a description. And if you just scroll down that, you'll see all the references and links and stuff at the end of that. And some people also are new to YouTube that have kind of found this from my Facebook page. And I think you're not able to comment unless you actually kind of sign up. It's free and you won't get junk mail, I don't think, and that kind of stuff. But that way, when you subscribe, you'll get an email that that maybe there's a new video posted or something like that. I'm not sure. You may have to log into YouTube, and then it'll show you in your notifications when you have new videos to watch or whatever. So I'm new to this too. But anyway, I just had that question before about where to find all the links. So I'll put those there. So like I said, I started this one out as a mixed media thing. And so if you want to see how I do these, I can do a video about that. But this is actually has a raised texture to it, and just lots of different things to create the different effects. This is when I travel, I like to collect money from other countries and whatnot, and then I photocopy it, and I like to use that as ephemera in my designs. So this one kind of, to me, gave me kind of more of an exotic kind of feel, I guess. I like a lot of color and the bright color. So I decided that I wanted to kind of have that theme go through to the inside. Just a lot of bold color. So I didn't put any kind of closure on this book because I did my heart, which if you've followed my Facebook page and seen the previous ones that I've done, that was kind of something, that an element that I wanted to add, just kind of a sculptural element. So I didn't really want this to close. I kind of like that it fans out, that you can see all the bright color. So it's kind of a keepsake book, like I said, so it would just, you know, set it on a shelf and leave it open, and then you kind of see all this in the front. So I kind of like that. So just to move on here, I had went ahead when I did this, when I make the altered book to sell without finishing the insides, I like to at least do some kind of mixed media or painting finished off the inside front and back covers. So I had done that on this one, and then I really was never happy with the way that this front page turned out. So I went ahead and just made a pocket and covered up the part I didn't like. So I just put a little journal card. I left most of these kind of journal cards and things very simple because this is, I'm not going to keep this one. I think I'll sell it. And that way it allows room, plenty of room for the person that gets this to kind of add their personality to it with the sayings and things that they like. So that's why I am going to keep it pretty simple. Plus, I used these papers that were really colorful and kind of had that exotic feel, so I didn't want to fuss them up too much. So the first page that I did, I wanted kind of a cover page. Now when I did this one, I had already folded the heart. I will put this pattern, I can't share this because I didn't make it, and I bought it on Etsy, I think. So I'll put the link because I'm allowed to sell products once I make the heart, but I can't share or sell the pattern because it's not mine. So I'll put the link and then you can purchase it. I think it was just a few dollars to get it, and then you have it for your own use. So that's just a simple folded heart. I went ahead when I did it and just used glue stick and glued down these pages so they weren't all floppy. But you know, I've sold them without doing that. I had actually thought about using each of these pages as like a little journaling page too, which would be kind of fun. So that's just another idea. I think when I do the next one, I'm going to put the heart maybe in the center of the book. And if you're going to do something like this, I have found from experience that, like for the next one, I will section off the pages that I need to keep in the book for the sculpture, but I won't fold them yet. I'll do that at the end because sometimes it's kind of hard to work against something that's already folded. So that's just kind of a tip there, and I'm moving ahead of myself here. But basically, I had that first front cover that I had left. This is an ad. So I basically had a piece, just the front cover, and then my heart started. So once I decided I wanted, and I still had all the book pages in here at the time. Once I decided I wanted to make it a keepsake book, I knew I was going to be taking lots of pages out, but I really didn't have a plan when I started. I just knew I needed to add some things in. I wanted to add kind of a front and back cover to my heart. And then I hadn't dyed this, but I went ahead and dyed it. Just using my Distress ink, I dyed this with my little dauber just to get the edges so it would stand out. And I love turquoise. So that was kind of done ahead. I had already done this, so I had added the pocket. And then when I added this cover to this part, I used double-sided heavy cardstock so that I didn't really need to do anything to this side, but I could use the other printed side and make some pockets. So this was an attached pocket, but this is actually part of the next pages that I added. So we'll call this a folio, just for a term to use. So this one has a pocket on one side, like I said. And I like to put something to be able to grab and pull that out. I did use my circle cutter to make this little notch. And then I had these little clips, which this one I've glued on. Mostly because when I added the little sari silk on here, when I went to pull it, it kept wanting to slide off, so I actually glued it down. And then I just used some words that I had typed up and cut out, and then just kind of did a little embellishment to this one. I didn't do it, I put some lines on the back. I did not do this much to most of the cards, but I kind of like to inspire the person that's going to get this, so maybe then they'll want to decorate up the other cards that I've left in here for them. And then I just added a couple little things, not much. Then this is just another band. I had a scrap left over when I cut this paper, but this is actually just the paper as it was. I did take some of the little tiny strips that I had that are just scraps and added those to the edge with some a little strip of pink stones that come in like a tape form. So I used that, and then just made another little tuck here. And this one I've left plain. You could write between the lines. I thought would be fun. So I've kind of just left it blank. And then I just did a little belly band, we call that, with a little saying, and then just added another little card. Mostly because I wanted this paper here, and it was double-sided. So there wasn't, you could write on this, but I thought adding a blank card would be better. So I've done that. And I'm going through these in detail just to kind of give you ideas if you're working on something like this. And then this is just a little tag that I've made. I've shown how I do these before, but if you want to, I'm not sure which tutorial, I'd have to go back and find, but it might be good if you see things in here that you like. I'll just maybe do a tutorial of how to do these just different little things. And then we have the heart, and then I wanted the back cover for the heart. So I added another folio, and now this is where it got kind of my first mistake, I guess I'll call it. And I didn't fix it yet because I want you to see what happens. So if you can see this, I knew that I wanted to add a folio that had some thickness to it because, like I said, this is a keepsake book. So I don't need lots of journaling pages, but I wanted lots of pullouts and to add little booklets. So I took out a lot of pages, you can see there, which was fine. I was kind of afraid to pull out the junk, which I learned later on I could without destroying the spine. So that's a lesson learned. You can actually, this is glued to this fabric spine. You can actually pull all that out without hurting it. So at least in this book, you could, every book's different. So I could have pulled this out more and it wouldn't have made it cleaner for me. The other thing is I didn't use the glue that now I'm going to use. I used it towards the end, but I found this mixed media adhesive from Aleene's, and it's supposed to dry in minutes. It does dry pretty quick. And it's kind of, I would say, similar to the texture of like a rubber cement. So I do like this glue, and I'll maybe put the name of that down there for you. But like I said, I didn't clean that out as much as I could have, and I wanted to show what happens. When I went to open my book real far, it's pulling away from where I glued it to the other book page. I kind of have to untie this so you can see. But this whole folio is actually the cover from the heart, so it's a piece that goes like this. And then I added more of the double-sided cardstock to create these pockets. And then I just glued it to the next book pages that I had. That works fine, but I need something stronger in the spine. And this one, when I did my folio, I just folded the paper just in half without giving it a spine on the back edge. And so for the amount of stuff that I wanted inside, it would have been better if I would have scored the two lines and then folded it, because it would have given me that space. And that is what I did by my last folio, which came out great. So I wanted to show that, what not to do. So this was what not to do. So you can see it pulled out, and now what I'll do is I'll be able to go ahead and put some of that Aleene's in there, but I'll have to really just hold it like this for minutes and minutes. Sorry about that. In order to get it to stay. But it does work. So I'll get to the last one, and then you can see how nice that one ended up looking. So for this one though, I just had that one single sheet of the cardstock, the one layer, and I did another band like I had done on the front side. I just repeated that here with the cutoff piece. And then I just put a couple of little cards in here. And then this side I was kind of in the mood to be adding these little phrases. So this one says, tell me where the unicorn is, and it's on a piece of little sari silk with just some little embellishment. Not a whole lot, just stuff that kind of blended in with the paper. This little 3D butterfly, I have a punch that does these, and then I've added glitter and paint and all kinds of stuff just to kind of give it some texture. And then in this pocket, I went ahead and I made it also another little pocket. So it just has another little tag to write on in there. But there's room in all of these, you know, they can put like little mementos and letters and things like that. Now then the other side, so this is still in that same folio. The inside of this one, I just added, it's double-sided from the same pack, but it's a thinner weight, kind of a metallic paper. So I did some stitching just around the edges of this. And I kept having trouble having this side stay the corner. When you drop a corner all the way to the bottom like that, especially this thin of paper, sometimes it wants to come loose. I had already glued this in before I thought to stitch this on. If I would have sewed this to this other part, then I wouldn't have that problem. But I hadn't done it, and I'd already put it in the book. So I ended up, my fix was I took this little clip that I had aged, because I could fold it, it'll hold it. I've glued it now, so it's probably on there good, but I kind of liked how that looked then, to leave that little rusty thing, and then I can fold it like that. So it's just another little cute element there, and then that way I know it'll stay. So the reason it kind of wants to keep coming undone is that I have leave that off for a second, a notepad, and so it has some thickness to it, so I keep trying to put that in there. I did another tutorial where I have how I did some of this binding. I've gotten better at it now. I'll put the kit that I used, that's my little book binding thing, which I'll show you. I've shown this many times, but it's just a little way to punch to do your book binding, and it has some decorative stitches in there. So I might do these again and do a craft along kind of thing. But this is a great tool. It's from We Are Memory Keepers, and I'll add that to the list at the description too, so you'll have that. But this is just one of the Japanese stitches that I like. And then just used the papers and made a little label. I have an old typewriter that I just used, and I decided to do all my little labels within this book, kind of the same kind of thing. And then I just added some beads, because I do jewelry. I always have lots of beads. And when I did the stitching, I did the start and stop in the middle of the book so that I could do this little dangle. So this is actually just the binding thread that I left some hanging so that I could do that. And you can actually fray the ends of these to make it look like a little tassel. So I'm kind of a detailed person, as you may know. And then on the inside, I forgot to show, I did some coffee stain paper, and it's lined on one side and graph on the other. So I kind of just alternated them before I put them in the book. So that's just a little place for handwritten notes. And then this was another little fold out. I had made this cute little thing that wants to keep falling off, but this is just a little banner paper clip idea instead of a different kind of closure, so it's kind of holding it together. This was one of the metallic, you can see the shine, one of the metallic double-sided papers. And it's just kind of a little double pocket type thing. So I put some extra paper in this one, and then I just did another little journal card on this side. But it's just kind of a tube sleeve thing there. And I haven't done a tutorial on these yet, so maybe I'll do that. That's just that little one. And then something I had been wanting to try for a long time, I'm going to tie it back up so you can see, was to do like a recess in a book. And I had watched a video, there's probably lots out there how to do them. There's probably different ways to do them. And it had been a while since I watched one, and I thought, well, I'm just going to kind of try to play around. I do it maybe different next time, and I'm going to try it again. But when I was doing this one, my thought was, I don't want to glue all the outside edges of the paper because I kind of want to look like I don't really want it to look like it's a little recessed box kind of thing. I want it to still kind of look like it's just pages tied together. So when I did this one, I took the amount of pages that I wanted and I cut them all out with an X-Acto knife. And then I just glued the inside edge to see if I could get it to stay together enough. And it did okay. I repeated the process and did quite a bit. So this is very solid on the inside. And then I just put another decorative piece of paper to line the inside. And I did it just because I wanted to have like a little scrapbook style photo album kind of thing that sat in there recessed is why I did it. You could make them deeper or not. But when I did this, I used my little clamps like I did when I glued it to kind of hold that together till it dried. And then afterwards, a lot of them were coming apart because that's just not enough to hold the whole thing. So I did go back and just use my little precision applicator here and go ahead and glue more on this outside just to kind of keep those all together. I like how it turned out okay. If you don't care that it's kind of wavy in here, I might do another one a little different next time just to have tried something to experiment on. So, but I like how it turned out. It achieved what I needed it to. So I just had put a little eyelet on this side with a string and then one on the other side to be able to tie it together. So this is just kind of like a little box kind of thing. And then that's just my little photo album kind of scrapbook thing, and it just says memories on the top. So I did the binding with sari silk. That's kind of like how a scrapbook is with just the 3 holes. And then I love doing these little tie thingies. So that's just an eyelet on one of my little 1/2-inch button circle punch that I made these like little buttons. And then you just like the, what do they call those? Like coin envelopes, I think is what they're called, where the eyelet goes through the hole and that's actually what attaches it. So I could maybe do a tutorial of that sometime too, but that's not hard. And then just my little blank pages. I think I'll put a little envelope of corners, photo corners in here so that whoever gets this will have a way to attach photos if they want. So that's just another little added thing. My little secret stash, and then it just ties together with a ribbon. I wish I had more of this little ribbon. I loved it, but I used it all up. And it's like a little stripe of colors that I like, and I like how thin it is, but I'm out of it now. Then the next folio, let's see. So I've done that one. This one is the little recessed one. So I had needed the lid of it. And then the next side. So there's actually book pages in between these 2 folios that I glued them to. So, and I think I left 2 or 3 pages in between just to give it enough structure that was attached to my spine. So this one, I just did kind of a slit pocket. So this is one paper and the other side is the other paper, and it's just a little slot, just a little slice. And then I just did a couple of blank journal cards. And like I said, I just love this paper, so I didn't really embellish it up too much. Just a little butterfly. And then this side, I wanted to do another little book. So this one I did like a little mini gratitude journal. So it just says gratitude on the top. And it's just with a little simple binding. And again, I left the binding string that I used, which is button thread actually. I just left it long so that I could do a cute little dangle thing. And then this one again is just the little paper. I had some trouble I think with it tearing up here or something. So I used this. This is not, I think they'd consider it washi tape. I'm not sure, but it's not really paper. It's almost like fabric tape. And it has this gold shimmer, so that worked out perfect because it actually helped keep everything together. Sometimes when you do just a thin cardstock like this for the cover, it's not enough, and it, you know, wear and tear, it's gonna tear. So I could have used like an old cereal box or something like that and covered it with paper, and then it would be more sturdy. So that's just a thought when you're making little books. And so that one, when I put that folio in, I did use the Aleene's glue, but again, I still had just folded it in half. So it stuck good, but I don't have like the thickness that I might want. That's kind of what makes the book open up like this. So if I were to take enough pages out of the book so that everything kind of sat flatter, then that works better. And again, if I would have done my little score marks to make it more like a spine on the cardstock, then I think it would have set in there nicer. But it works okay. It's fine. This is like I said, everything I do, I'm learning something new. So I am happy with how this one turned out, but I did learn some things. So I got to my very end of my book, and I had all of these pages still in there of the book pages. So I just decided to take them all out and leave just what I already had for my back cover, which is stiff because I had painted and done stuff on this one already, and it was probably, I don't know, 3 pages or so glued together of the book. So it already had some structure, and then adding the cardstock to that also made it stiffer, and I like that. So this one, when I did this one, I wanted to have a removable book, and I wanted it to be, it's about 1/4 of an inch spine width, so that I could add this book to it. And I didn't do a closure on this, but the fact that the pages were white, I decided this is going to be like a sketchbook, and I didn't want to see all these white pages all of a sudden with all this color. So I decided to just use this cute little, from Tim Holtz, little clip as my closure for my book. So it just kind of added a little decorative element, but it keeps you seeing only the colorful part. So the reason it kind of doesn't sit flat, 2 reasons, is I have it tied in with this ribbon, which I glued into that spine, you know, before I put the folio in. So it's in there nice. I used that Aleene's glue in there to put it in, so that way it can come in or out. And I just thought, because it was going to be a sketchbook, it says doodles on the front, that it would be easier to work with not in this book because of the way it doesn't open flat. So I thought this way you could take it out, you can paint on it. I just used sketch pad paper. That's why I called it doodles. So you could use watercolor paper or mixed media paper or that kind of thing, but it's going to make it thicker. So I did need the thickness of this 1/4 inch in my spine. So I also did the same, just kind of simple stitch for the binding, and I left these really long so they could even almost be like a bookmark. I actually had them hanging out the back of the whole book just for a little decoration too. So I liked that I left those really long, and then just kind of staggered some beads on there. And to do this, I would put a bead, and then I would tie 2 knots so that the bead doesn't slide down. Just kind of a little idea to make them stay staggered. So that was just a simple little book. And then I just did 2 pockets on this one. They actually aren't stitched in the center. I was going to do another little book for like quotes, but I was in a hurry to do this video to show you because I was kind of excited about how it finished up. So I just did some just different journal cards, and I didn't, like I said, I didn't decorate these. I just did the inking on them. But that way, whoever gets it, they can embellish them with quotes or pictures or whatever they want. So I thought that was fine. And then I just did a couple more, and then I did another one of these little these little banner paper clips just to keep them together. So that's kind of it, my little finished thing. But it was fun to actually work on something different. The last journal, if you didn't look at the last flip through video I did, was one of these altered books that I had started, but then someone on my Facebook page asked for it to be finished for her as that she actually does journal. So I did 12 months of calendar in it and all kinds of other stuff. So if you want to check that out, it's totally different in style and in what it's used for. So these are just a couple of different ways. You know, I know that, especially since I've sold a couple of these altered books, you know, you get it and you're like, okay, now what do I do at the inside? So this was just another idea that was different from the last one. And like I said, I like how this one's laid out with all the different pull-out things, that it's really more of a keepsake kind of art book, I guess. So I will do another one, and I think I'll do it with a vintage theme, maybe, or a garden theme, I'm not sure. So that'll be coming up next. I've got a couple of books that I have started painting the covers on, but I haven't finished them. So I need to do that first, maybe, and then kind of get a theme going. I have learned that I like to have everything kind of coordinated. So it is kind of nice to have a theme in mind before I maybe do the cover. Like I said, this one I had just painted the cover, had no idea what I would do inside, but I am happy with how it turned out. I love how colorful it is. So I'll probably be listing this one on my jewelry website. So if you don't follow my Facebook page, I'll put a link to that. And because usually when I list something, I share it to Pinterest. I do have a Pinterest page too. So you can find products there, or on my Facebook page, I'll put the link there. If I do get it listed, I maybe go back and put the link at the bottom of this description too, if you want to go and purchase it. So leave me a comment if you have anything to say or ask questions. If you're interested in me doing a tutorial video to include these little things, I can do that, because I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to do another book at some point anyway. So thank you for watching. I hope you did watch it to the end, and have a great rest of your day. Now go make something. Bye.